Welcome to VHS Voyage, where we are on a journey to find, watch, and discuss movies on VHS we've never seen or never knew existed. I'm Matt.
I'm Devin.
And today's episode, we're going to talk about
Blind Fury.
This is going to be an interesting episode because this movie is, this is a f***ing wild movie. Let's just put it that way. And we're going to have a lot of fun things to say about this movie. But before we get into that, Devin, what kind of facts and information were you able to find on this one?
No, not a lot on this one.
I didn't think so.
Not a lot. Directed by Philip Noyce. This is written by, God, here we go.
You can do it.
Ryozo Kazuhara. IMDb.
Okay, IMDb for Blind Fury. I bet there's not a lot of votes on that one.
Actually, almost 20,000.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, also,
Wow.
Well, another thing, this was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So it had a little bit of a, you know,
Okay.
people watched it.
I'm going to say 6.
I was shocked at 6.3. I was like, that's
6.3.
I was like, wow, okay. When
Wow.
I saw that, I was like, okay.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes audience and critic is available.
All right. Critic, I'm going to say 20.
A lot higher.
60.
It's 51.
51. Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. And in the audience, I'm going to say 60.
56.
56. Okay. So audience
Higher
and critic.
ratings than I was expecting
Yeah, me too.
after seeing this.
Yeah, and dude, when I was looking at this on Letterboxd, I noticed that it was hovering around the like 3.1 range
Yeah,
on
I
Letterboxd.
saw that too. Yeah, I was surprised by that. This stars Rutger Hauer, Terry O'Quinn, Brandon Call, and Nick Cassavetes. I wanted to point that out. I didn't recognize him when he was one of the redneck funny
Really?
guys.
Yeah.
And Nick Cassavetes is in a lot of stuff, but also he went on to be a director. He directed
Really?
movies like The Notebook and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Siskel and Ebert gave this 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, so it even says on the back
Yeah.
of the tape that they gave it 2 thumbs up, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get into why.
Yeah.
So what is Blind Fury about? All right, so we got our main character, our protagonist, played by Rutger Hauer. His name is Nick Parker. He is a Vietnam War veteran. However, he was missing in action in Vietnam because he was in a accident. Well, not really an accident. He had a war injury that caused him to go blind, caused him to lose his eyesight. He got separated from his team. So he gets blind. He's wandering around the jungle in Vietnam, and he gets taken in by some indigenous tribe. They take him in, they nurse him back to health, and he stays with them for 20 years, and they teach him how to use his other senses, and they teach him the way of the sword.
They play Fruit Ninja. They literally throw fruit at him, and he has to cut the fruit out of the air with a katana.
After this very brief, mind you, this is a very brief scene. It's like super quick.
What, 60 seconds?
Yeah.
2 minutes?
Yeah,
Maybe.
this montage of him living with them, and then all of a sudden, boom, 20 years later, he's in Miami. No explanation for how he got home. He's going to visit a wartime buddy of his named Frank for reasons that are unknown at this time. He gets there. He meets Frank's wife and his son Billy, and he's going in there to talk to Frank's wife and son Billy, and then all of a sudden, somebody busts in there, a couple of cops and one of the main baddies bust in there and just all of a sudden brutally kill Frank's wife. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to mention that is because one of the things that I thought was odd about this movie, Devin, is the way the movie opens up and kind of begins. It sets itself up as this kind of serious action movie, but then there's a lot of really goofy comedy in the movie. So it's like this movie is trying to find some balance between being a serious action movie and a super goofy comedy.
Yes, and it all just happened so fast.
Yeah.
Of course. After 20 years of playing Fruit Ninja in the jungle of Vietnam, the second he lands back in Miami, of course, his best friend in Vietnam is making meth for some mobsters.
Yeah.
Oh, what perfect timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The world just came together. Universal.
Frank's wife, I don't even remember her name, she gets killed. Billy gets knocked out by one of the bad guys, and Nick, of course, like kills 2 of the cops with his sword, and that's where you first see his skills as a blind swordsman. He doesn't kill the other bad guy, the other goon, but he does injure him, and the guy bursts through a window.
Yes, that's how bad guys used to get away back in the day. They would jump through windows.
Jump through windows.
So.
Yep, exactly.
Ain't gonna stop no bullet.
in that scene where Parker's killing the two cops, the black guy that he slashes with his sword makes a really funny noise.
He does.
It was like, what was it? It was like, oh, or something weird like that. There's one scene where, so they're on a bus, like a bus that goes across country. There's one scene where they stop at like a gas station or something, and like they're trying to like build a relationship between these two characters. So Billy throws a rock at Nick, like messing with him, and they fall in some mud.
The kid's an asshole.
He is really an asshole, isn't he? He is really an asshole. Oh no, he doesn't throw a rock at Nick. He gives Nick a piece of rock and is like, "Here, here's some candy."
Yeah, and then there's this stupid scene where he bites the rock thinking it's candy.
And it spits it at Billy's head.
Yep.
So there was a later scene where Nick finally tells Billy that his mom had died, and Billy runs into a cornfield. And by the way, before that scene, there's literally a truck full of goons with tons of guns around tons of people, and it's like nobody even notices. They got like Uzis and shotguns and rifles and shit.
Yeah, they're at like a rest stop in the country.
Yeah.
It never explained how the goons tracked them down or knew where they were.
Right.
Just so happened that these goons were at the same exact cornfield at the same exact time.
So speaking of the cornfield scene, so they set up this action sequence in the cornfield, I guess to make it a level playing field, because, you know, Nick is blind, but if the goons are in a cornfield, they won't be able to see him because there's corn stalks everywhere. But the bad guys are just so stupid, dude. They're so dumb. There's a hillbilly with a shotgun eating popcorn while they're trying to find Nick and Billy in the cornfield.
Mm-hmm. He had the trope of he had a bulletproof vest on.
Yes.
So when Nick slices him with the katana, guess what? No, he didn't, because he had a vest on.
But then that raises the question, how did that knock the dude out? He got sliced in the bulletproof vest with a katana. How did he get knocked out?
Yeah, you're right. He literally acted like he died.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah. So there's some pretty funny lines in this movie that we're going to talk about. But the first one that comes up, it goes to the main villain, McCready. And he's pissed off because they failed to catch Nick and Billy at the cornfields, and he finds out about it. And he goes, "Give me Bruce Lee!" And the guy that he's talking to goes, "Bruce Lee is dead." Then he goes, "Give me his brother!"
Can't handle it. Get me somebody that can. Get me Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is dead.
Then get his brother.
Nick and Billy are like at a park or something, and there's a giant bug flying around, and Nick pulls out his sword, chops the giant bug in half through the air, and there's this old couple sitting at a picnic table. They see it happen, and the old man says to his wife, "We should get one of those, honey," talking about the sword.
Maybe they want a blonde man too. Maybe they want a blonde man. Maybe they meant they want a blonde man with a katana.
You know what? That makes more sense.
Actually, I don't know why I keep saying a katana. It's in a cane.
I think it was a samurai sword. I think.
That's what a katana is.
Did you see that?
We should get one of those, honey.
Yeah.
So Nick and Billy and this female all get kidnapped by a couple of dumb hillbillies that McCready hires. And these guys, when I say they're dumb, they're on a whole other spectrum of dumb. But Billy gets out and he frees Nick, and Nick wants him to start a fire. And then there's this really dumb moment where they throw his cane out the window. And Nick hears his cane fly out the window of his vehicle and hit the ground, and he knows it's his cane sword.
He has like spider senses when it comes to his cane.
Exactly. And he tells Billy to start counting and don't stop until I tell you to. So basically what he's doing, he's trying to get Billy to count so that when they get control of the vehicle, he can know how to get back to his cane. There's no way in hell that would ever work.
No.
And then the bad guys, in the meantime, they find some old ladies in a car, and they try to steal their car, and they violently pull the old ladies out of the car, and one of the old ladies pulls a gun out of her purse with it's a revolver with a barrel that's like 16 inches long, and starts shooting at them as they're driving up. The hillbillies are driving off in their vehicle.
Yep.
Dad, get out! Come on, you battle axe. Move your ass!
So then we get to a casino, and for some reason, Nick starts gambling. And like he's winning repeatedly and winning tons of money, because I guess he's using his other senses to know where the balls.
Oh, and he guesses like exact number.
Yeah.
He'll be like 13 black.
Yeah.
And then it's like lands perfectly on.
Yeah. So then some of the guys come out there that work at the casino, and they like swap the balls out for a ball that's like rigged. And Nick slices, after he loses, he slices the thing off. It flips around, and you see that it's rigged. And then everybody in the casino loses their damn minds, and he causes a riot in the casino. So he did this as a distraction so that he could punch in the numbers on a keypad that he listened to earlier, because he could hear the tone of each numbers and memorize what the code is, so that he can get up to the suite and get to Frank. There's two big guys from the casino that chase after him, as well as the hillbillies. The hillbillies come back. They get in an elevator chasing after Nick, and Nick, like, when he gets up to the suite, he knows they're on the elevator coming after him, and he slices the elevator pad, and it causes the elevator to stop for some reason. And then here comes one of my favorite quotes in the movie. So the elevator stops, and one of the hillbillies goes, "Shit!" And then the other hillbilly goes, "Fuck!" And then at the same time, they go, "Shit, fuck!"
Shit, fuck. Shit, fuck.
You know what? I liked the hillbillies. They were the best part of the movie. That was like the one thing I was like, I actually like these hillbillies.
Yeah. Nick finds Frank. They escape, but while they're escaping, you find out that the bad guy, McCready, gets Frank's girlfriend and son, Billy, and kidnaps them. So Frank and Nick have to make their way to some ski resort up on a mountain for the final confrontation in the movie. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail here, but you know, when the final action sequence of the movie, there's like a million bad guys. When they get to the ski resort in that thing that goes up the wires up the mountain, I can't remember the lift. There's bad guys up there, and they just unload bullets on the lift. And then one of the bad guys, quote, says, "That thing's got," it was one of the rednecks, I think. He goes, "That thing's got more holes than my daddy's rubber." And then the other redneck goes, "I didn't know Dad wore a rubber."
Yeah. God damn, that thing's got more holes than my daddy's rubber. Woo! I didn't know Dad wore a rubber.
Nick is in this giant room with like 20 bad guys with guns. He's surrounded, okay? He's surrounded, so he's fucked. Instead of just immediately shooting him, they just stand there while they're surrounding him. And then Frank turns the lights off in this room to give Nick the upper hand because he's blind and he doesn't need lights. As soon as the lights go off, these stupid bad guys standing in a circle with all their guns pointed inward start shooting each other.
Oh, shit. Where is he? Stop the firing!
A man with a sword comes out of nowhere, and it plays this really racist music. Like,
Yes.
So there's a sword fight.
Yep, there's a sword fight.
Oh, and by the way, the bad guy dies by getting electrocuted inside of a hot tub.
So after this, you don't ever find out what happens to the main bad guy, McCready. You never find that out. And then there's this really awkward scene where Nick decides he's not going to go with Billy and Frank and his girlfriend, and Billy's chasing after him, and he's like, "I need you, Uncle Nick. I need you, Uncle Nick." And then all of a sudden, Nick can cry again.
Yeah. because he said earlier in Vietnam when he had a bomb blow up on him, it broke the part of his brain that lets him cry.
Yes.
And I did not make that up.
So, Devin, what are your final thoughts on Blind Fury?
I hate this movie. I don't understand how it has a 6 something. I don't get it.
Like, I wasn't bored watching the movie. I definitely wasn't bored. But this is not a good movie. I don't understand how it got the ratings that it did. But it made me laugh. It made me laugh, and there was enough weird moments in it to where it's not a movie I'm going to watch again, though.
No.
And ultimately, that is what determines if it's going to be a keeper, is if either one of us would watch it again. So you know what that means, folks? We're going to be giving away Blind Fury over on the Instagram page, vhs.voyage. You'll have 1 week from the day this video goes live to enter the giveaway. So go over to the page so you can enter and win Blind Fury. That's it for today's episode of VHS Voyage on Blind Fury. I'm Matt.
I'm Devin.
Catch you guys in the next episode.